Good morning.
Good morning.
Or good afternoon if you're watching from another time zone or later. I am Reverend Jerry Troyer, and this is Ohm Center for Spiritual Living. Happy Sunday and welcome. It is great to see all of you this morning and great to be with you. We have an opening song. Talia and Sylvia are going to lead us in. Good morning to both of you and welcome. Great to see both of you. Thanks so much for being here.
The happiest minister in the whole wide world.
I'll accept that. All right. So, my dears, take it away.
All right.
The words will magically appear on the screen,
Magically.
and you're invited to stand up if you like
Sure.
and join us on this. My soul is welcome here.
Yeah. All right, everybody. And my good friend Talia and I, we're going to rock the rafters. That's right. Gently. Almost. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, you guys sound so good, I think. Can I hear you? Do you hear yourselves? Oh, really? Well, let me see if I can hear you. Ready? I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Again, I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Okay, superstars, here's the ending. Join me, because we're going to take this band on the road. Hey, Martin, am I on live here? Amazing. Are you on live? Yeah. I'm on live. Listen. My soul is welcome here. 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 Good morning, everybody. Thank you. And you already know how to sit. This is wonderful.
We can only hope.
Are you good to yourself and to other people? Are you gentle and kind to yourself and to others? As you go about your day, do you speak and act with gentle compassion and love in your heart? When you are kind and gentle to people and to yourself, you will find a handful of divine blessings over here and over there. lying in your path, gently left there for you by God. And so during our silent meditation, I invite you to contemplate these words. I am kind and gentle with myself and other people. Again, I am kind and gentle with myself and other people. In the silence, everything already is. And so I know that today, everything that is unfolding is doing it perfectly. That all the people and all the life forms and all life here in this world and in the entire infinite of whatever it is welcoming the events and the unfolding of the most beautiful day in
our lives. And so I know that it's because God is all there is. I know that each person, each creation is part of the divine, as the divine is part of it. It's all beautifully woven together, one immense tapestry of brilliant textures and colors, flavors, and anything our senses and dreams can imagine. And so I call this day good because the music will thrill and chill us and uplift us. And thank goodness it goes across not only here in the sanctuary, but across the walls and the buildings and the earth and beyond because of our technology and our wonderful technical people who are helping to make this happen. And also, especially, a deep gratitude for the wisdom and the words that are spoken and delivered to your hearts by Reverend Jerry. What a blessing to come together, to be here. One community, unified in one thing, love. Love supported by kindness, compassion, and more love. I say, this is wonderful. What a good way to begin the day. And so together we say, and so it is. And at this time, I'd like to introduce you once again to Talia Morales. And she had the grace to allow me to be with her today. So I'm very grateful. And so, Martin, we go into our special environment now. Talia Morales.
So thinking about Reverend Jerry's talk and theme for today, I found this beautiful song by Rising Appalachia called I Am Resilient. I am resilient, I trust the movement, I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen. Oh, 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 oh. These times are poignant, the winds have shifted. It's all that we can do to stay uplifted. Pipelines through backyards, wolves wild howling out front. Yeah, I got my crew, but truth is what I want. Realigned and on point, power to the peaceful, prayers to the waters, women at the center, all vessels open to give and receive. Let's see the system brought down to its knees. Oh, 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 oh. I'm made of thunder, I'm made of lightning, I'm made of dirt, yeah, made of the fine things. My father taught me that I'm a speck of dust, and this world was made for me, so let's go out and try our luck. I got my roots down, 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 down deep. I got my roots down, 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 down deep. So what are we doing here? What has been done? What are you gonna do about it when the world's come undone? My voice feels tiny, and I'm sure so does yours. But put us all together, make a mighty roar, mighty roar, mighty roar. I am resilient, I trust the movement, I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen.
So much. Great song. Great song. Thank you. Thanks to both of you very much for that. So good morning once again, or good afternoon if you're in another time zone, or good evening for Candace, I believe. But she's in St. Lucia, yes. So she's over there a ways. But, or if you're watching later, welcome. Great to have all of you with us in this very room, and all of you on Zoom or watching later. As you may know, Centers for Spiritual Living offers themes for the year, and every month the CSL congregations and centers are invited but not required to talk about a specific subject. And historically, it's been a lot of rainbows and teddy bears, which is absolutely fine. We are a positive. This is a positive teaching. We are positive communities. We speak in the affirmative. All of that, but more recently, it feels like we're leaning in the direction of inviting and allowing our centers to do more of meeting people where they are. Meeting me where I am. Because I'm a minister, but I'm also a participant and a member and an attendee. So it is my great honor and privilege to minister to you, but I also come to be ministered to. So I'm so pleased that we're moving in that direction of recognizing that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So we're talking more about that human experience thing. Our theme for the month of August is unstatus quo. So think about the expression, the status quo. And as you probably know, it means the current state of things. So what's going on right now? Many of us were drawn to this teaching because what was going on right then was a big mess. Excuse me. It was about 1992 for my late husband and I, and the status quo was a big mess. The money didn't work, the relationship didn't work, the health was a little iffy. I couldn't find a parking place. The grocery store was out of whatever I was looking for. Those little things, as well as those big things just didn't work. And so we had some dear friends that said, well, you should come to church with us. And we're like, yeah, we'll have to do that. And if you've been through that experience or one like it, you know, the still small voice says, why don't you think about this? Why don't you think about this? And the still small voice gets a little less still and a little louder. And ultimately you say, before you get the cosmic 2x4, and I don't know about you, but I've had that experience as well, you finally say, okay, so we went in 1992 and never left. So been in this teaching for a few years and can't imagine life without it. Can't imagine going to any other spiritual practice because it is so wonderful. So our lives got better and our lives improved. But do we get in a place where we're comfortable in our discomfort? So life has gotten better. We've healed a few things. We've resolved a few things. But then there's still more to do. And of course, life is always ready for us to say, gee, that's nice, but I want better. So there's always the opportunity for us to step out of the status quo into something better. We have beliefs about money and health and relationships. We might have beliefs about those people. If you were with us last week, and if you weren't, I invite you to go on our website and listen to Reverend Suzette's talk from last week. It was extraordinary, and she talked about her experience with those people, and those are my words, not hers, but people who don't live like us, or think like us, or look like us, or talk like us. And how do we view them? How do we interact with them? How do we work with them? How are we in our lives right now and today? Recognizing that this thing called life changes. Ideally, our beliefs change. I know your beliefs about life and even without knowing you, I know that your beliefs and your ideas about how life is and what's important have changed over the years. Our beliefs about money and other people and relationships change as we grow and mature. How are we with change? We know that today is different from yesterday. Nature around us is different. Our physical bodies are different. How are we with allowing those changes in our lives to come in, embrace them, or at least accept them, and move forward? Because you remember the old expression, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. We're still chopping wood and carrying water, and we will be until we don't have to anymore. And I believe that when we're all done, then we get to go on to our next experience. So please keep working with this with me, because I'm not ready for any of you to go. So we need to stay here and keep doing what we're doing for a while. Thank you. How are we with change? In our relationships, in our experiences, in our physical bodies, in all these different attributes of life. Remember in the Bible, in more than 450 times, and I didn't count them, I got this off the internet, but more than 450 times the story starts with, and it came to pass. Because it did, whatever it is. Our time together is wonderful, but it came to pass. So we're together for a while, and then we go out into the highways and byways. Whatever it is, it came to pass. How are we with allowing that change? How are we with something new? I was thinking on the way over today, I live Baltimore Drive and Lake Murray Boulevard. So about 3 miles from church, which is just so cool because I can be running just a little late and still be here in like 4 minutes, which just works out terrifically. But so I go and I work downtown. So I go that way and home, and that way and home, and that way and home. And we had the Pride Festival and Parade last month, and so I had the opportunity and the requirement to do something different and go someplace different, and so went to Mission Hills and Hillcrest. And, oh my goodness, Park Boulevard and El Cajon Boulevard, you know, where El Cajon Boulevard ends, there's that imported car lot that is now a 6-story apartment building. And in Hillcrest, the old Pernicano's restaurant that was vacant for years and years is now a 5 or 6-story condo complex. I'm like, Jerry, you need to get out more. Just amazing. But things change. Things absolutely change. How are we with newness? With a new idea, with a new story, with a new thought, with a going someplace different, eating something different, meeting something different, meeting someone with a completely different lifestyle from us, and embracing them. Or even just start with tolerating, then accepting, then embracing. One step at a time, but can we go there? When we only operate in the status quo, things as they are, we miss out on the lusciousness of life. That's why I love to travel so much. And many of you know I was in Berlin, Germany, 2 months ago, and was just so cool because, for a variety of reasons, but one of them was it reminded me that not every place looks like San Diego. Because it doesn't. Life is different. People are different. Food is different. Experiences are different. And it's delicious. It's just absolutely wonderful. But can we give ourselves the opportunity to do that? So Reverend Suzette last week was talking about her interaction with... Oh, I missed a slide. Hold on. Reverend Suzette was talking with her interaction with this man at Costco sitting out in the food court, and she got a chocolate chip cookie. Now, if you're a Costco member, their chocolate chip cookies, warm and freshly baked from the food court, they are religious experiences. And I know religious experiences. These are the best flippin' cookie with the possible exception of DoubleTree, if you stay at a DoubleTree and get the cookie. But these chocolate chip cookies are really good. But this man is obviously unhoused. She went over and sat down next to him and offered him half of her cookie. And that was nice. But what was incredible was that she saw him. She recognized him as another one of the beloved and started a conversation with him. She saw him. There is this amazing organization that I wanted to tell you about. It's called We See You San Diego. They came, as you may know, I work with homeless 18 to 24-year-olds, and they came and took a tour of our housing program downtown several months ago and talked a little about their organization. And I have some verbiage for you. We See San Diego is an amazing organization that offers dinner parties to the homeless and addict communities. So not just a soup kitchen where you stand in line and walk through and get your plate and go and sit down and eat by yourself. They offer dinner parties. The weekly dinner party allows us to not only serve our guests, but it allows us to sit at a table with them. It is around the table that relationships are built. Fueled with passion and love, our team is invested in each individual who walks through our gate. It is through building relationships and establishing trust that we're able to extend opportunities for treatment and recovery to those living on the streets. WeSeeU sponsors the cost of treatment and recovery for those who are ready. Our team walks alongside individuals throughout their entire journey through visits, cards, care packages, and more. Wow. Sometimes I limit my vision, my judgment, my acceptance of what you're talking about based on what I've experienced. So you tell me that this has gone on, I'm not sure about that. But we don't know. We don't know. Thankfully, for most of us, we have no concept of some of the experiences, some of the traumas that people have been through. Can we allow ourselves to open our hearts and recognize that just because I have no concept of this doesn't mean that this isn't true for you? But we all come with our stuff, using a purely metaphysical and psychological term, and I don't have another word for it that's acceptable from the pulpit. So, our stuff. We're very positive in New Thought, and it's wonderful, but can we allow ourselves to recognize that, yes, I'm the beloved, and yes, everything is wonderful, and yes, it's a beautiful day, and yes, my heart is breaking. Or yes, I am experiencing some fear about some physical situation, or my heart is breaking because there's something going on in a relationship, or my heart is breaking because someone I loved made their transition a few years ago and I'm still grieving. Can we allow ourselves to feel that trauma, to be with it, and do what we need to do to process it through and move on? Because we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and in that experience we have those experiences that we wouldn't have consciously chosen, conflicts that we wouldn't have consciously chosen, traumas that we wouldn't have consciously chosen, that give us the opportunity to heal, to respect ourselves enough to say, yeah, this is still getting me, and continue to love ourselves, to treat ourselves in kindness and gentleness so that we can move forward. All of those human experiences. So let's talk about, I love that CSL is talking about trauma this morning in centers around the country. You know, it's just the coolest thing. So think about the word trauma. And of course, you can find everything on the internet, and some things you wanted and some things you didn't. But trauma is defined as an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, crime, natural disaster, physical, emotional abuse, neglect, experiencing or witnessing violence, death of a loved one, war, and more. Immediately after the event, shock and denial are typical. So there's acute trauma resulting from a single incident. Chronic trauma is repeated and prolonged, such as domestic violence or abuse. Or complex trauma is exposure to varied and multiple traumatic events. Do we allow ourselves to be with that, whatever that was? Because many of us have experienced trauma related to being rejected by family, being in an abusive situation, experiencing the death, and we don't use the D word, but I'm going to use the D word, the death of a loved one. Can we allow ourselves to be gentle and recognize that, yes, I experienced that. Yes, I'm not done with the grief yet. Do we allow ourselves to grieve, or do we cover ourselves up with statements like, It's all good. Everything is in divine order. They're in a better place. Everything is as it should be. And if you've had this experience, you know, dear ones in this teaching are just trying to help us and they don't know what to say, so they say something and it's just not what you needed to hear. And what do we tell ourselves? Do we remind ourselves that we're the beloved and it's okay to feel that grief and loss and anger and fear and everything else? Because, and I'll quote her again later, but my friend Debbie Ford used to say, what you can't be with won't let you be. Can I be with that grief? Can I be with that fear? Can I be with that loss and keep walking and keep healing and moving forward? So included in our human experience could also be, and our trauma could also be, shame. Oh, before we get to shame, think about trauma now. Now that was many years ago. So you should, if you've heard me speak before, you know that should is one of my favorite words. If we could take one word out of the English dictionary and send it into space, I believe that should be the word we do. Because if you're shoulding on yourself, that means that you probably really want to do what you shouldn't do or don't want to do what you should do. I'm just saying, right? So that happened 6 years ago. You should be over that by now. You were abused when you were a child. That was however many years ago. You should be over that by now. And sometimes we are, but sometimes we're not. How important it is to allow ourselves to recognize as the beloved that we get to feel what we feel, but also work toward moving forward. So the truth is your trauma is valid even if there are others who have had it worse, because sometimes we slip into that. Well, you think that's bad. You know, I was hit by somebody on a bicycle. You think that's bad? I was hit by somebody on a bus. You think that's bad? I was hit by a train. You think that's bad, and you kind of get the point. So we don't have to score our traumas. If it was traumatic for you, that's all you need to say. Your trauma is valid even if it occurred a long time ago. If you feel just fine now, and okay, but just make sure that you feel just fine now. That even if it could have been avoided, yes, if I'd only would have, sometimes not. Your trauma is valid even if you're the only one that knows about it, or if someone says, that wasn't that big a deal. You love them. You keep your hands at your sides and not smack them even though you might want to, and move forward. Your trauma is valid because it was traumatic for you. That's all we need to say. It was traumatic to me. That means it was traumatic. I don't need your approval or your buy-in or your acceptance to recognize, to validate my experience. Very often, shame comes along with that. But I found this great saying on Facebook, and of course, everything is on Facebook. Shame dies when stories are told in safe places. How often do we carry that secret? That secret that nobody knows. That nobody knows except us. And we make choices very often, life choices, based on keeping the deep, dark secret. And so often, as it was for me, so often we finally have to tell the secret. And the people that we're terrified of rejecting us say, Yeah. Shame dies when stories are told in safe places. A great quote from the book Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. Shame is the fear of disconnection. And I had never really gotten a good description of the word shame, but I love this. Shame is the fear of disconnection. We are psychologically, emotionally, cognitively, and spiritually hardwired for connection, love, and belonging. Connection along with love and belonging, two expressions of connection, is why we are here, and it's what gives purpose and meaning to our lives. Shame is the fear of disconnection. It's the fear that something we have done or failed to do, an idea that we've not lived up to, or a goal that we've not accomplished makes us unworthy of connection. I'm not worthy or good enough for love, belonging, or connection. Shame is the intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love and belonging. So things like our appearance and body image, our money situation and our work, family situations, mental and physical health, addiction, sexual orientation, aging, and surviving trauma. And guilt, so the difference, guilt is I did something bad, shame is I am bad. If your childhood doesn't look like a Hallmark card and somebody left, do we carry that belief that they left us? Or do we allow ourselves to recognize that they left the situation and not take that personally? What I know is so often what happened in our childhood, unless and until we allow ourselves to look at it, can affect us in our lives when we're 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. What we can't be with won't let us be. Can we allow ourselves to look at that with some number of year-old eyes? And I had this experience. I was looking at everything that happened when I was 6 years old with 6-year-old eyes. But then when I looked at them with, we'll say 50-something-year-old eyes, wow, that's not what happened. But my 7-year-old thought that's exactly what happened. When we look at the situation again, when we allow ourselves to open our hearts and our minds, we see what really happened. And we can change the story. We can absolutely change the story. So why does it matter? I always like to know. So, yeah, that's really nice. So, what's the point of this? Do you have a junk drawer at your house? Where in the are the tape measures? I can't find the tape measures. So now I carry one in my car, which is, it's just I'm so proud of me that I had the wisdom to do that, because every once in a while I'll need one at work, and I know that there's one in the car. But where are the tape measures? I think somebody comes in the middle of the night and steals the tape measures. Makes me crazy. But so in the junk, I know, right? So in the junk drawer, there's the tape measure and the screwdriver and the switch plates that you were going to replace 5 years ago that don't even go with the decor anymore, but they're still in there. But also in our, I'm sorry? Just in case, you never know, right? But in our junk drawer is the anger and the fear and the hurt and all those emotions in our junk drawer. I don't want to look at this. I don't want to think about this. I don't want to deal with this. This was a long time ago. They did the best they could, blah, blah, blah. So I just throw it in the junk drawer. at least the emotional junk drawer. And you're going along and you open the drawer, and every time you open the drawer, of course, things shift a little bit. And then whatever that was works its way to the top of the drawer. I thought I was over this, but what happened to the leftover pizza? I really was only going to eat half of it, but then wound up eating all of it. Or I really wanted to watch that movie. Still can't watch that movie. What happened to the pint of Ben & Jerry's? Now, keeping in mind that if you open it, it's not as good. Once it's opened, it's not as good the second day. So you really are better off just to go and eat the whole thing. What happened to the rest of the package of lemon Oreos? Whatever the case might be, the point is we have a wonderful way of processing our unprocessed emotions. As you might have noticed, for me, it's food very often. But there's also, I'm saving money for my next vacation, but then, do you have the Amazon app on your phone? One of the top 5 of the biggest mistakes I made in my life. Gee, I wonder if Amazon has that. Of course Amazon has that. And the nice people from Amazon, because you asked for it, not only bring it to you tomorrow morning and charge your credit or debit card, but also now are sending me, and I bet you as well, suggestions based on your browsing history. Here's something you might like. I'm like, oh, thanks a lot, guys. The point is, in our junk drawer are all of those emotions, all of those stories, all of those traumas that we just haven't allowed ourselves to look at. And they'll stay there. They're very happy to just reside unless and until we can look at them and recognize them and release them. Release those traumas so that we can move forward. And quoting Debbie Ford once again, what we can't be with won't let us be. So I think it was last year or 2 years ago, CSL's theme, and it might be the ongoing, is creating a world that works for everyone. And it has to do with recognizing not only our human experience, but also everyone else's as well. I see you. I have no idea what happened in your life that caused you to become homeless. And I'm not sure that I want to because it would break my heart. But I see you as a worthy, worthwhile expression of spirit. I see you. I have no idea what it was that brought you to this point, but I see you just as I see myself. Leaving the status quo requires us to be vulnerable, to talk about what we don't like to talk about, to not cover ourselves up with toxic positivity and spiritual bypass and all those other wonderful positive statements that are the absolute truth, even though the fact is our hearts might be breaking. It allows us to say, to have the sacred I don't know. Because if I'm carrying my story, if I'm carrying my trauma, if I'm carrying all of this for years or decades or centuries, I know what I'm happy with. I know what I'm not happy with. I know what my buttons are, and I know when I get them pushed. But what if I can step back and process those feelings, look at them, release them, and change the story? Because the truth is, and sometimes we get into this, and I do a workshop on this, not today, but I do a workshop on this about the fact that we are already enough. You know, I want to get that, I want to do that class, I want to get that degree, I want to get that better job, I want to get that better whatever, and that's wonderful, but that has nothing to do with our worth and value. because we are already the beloved. There isn't anything else we need to do to achieve that belovedness. I don't know if that's a word, but since I used it, it's a word now. There's nothing else to do to be okay, to be acceptable, to be the beloved. We already are. So this afternoon, or actually later this morning, about 11:20 or so, we're going to do a workshop. The title is The Search for Inner Peace, Being at Home in Muddy Water, about admitting, allowing, and even embracing change, grief, and loss. This is the one I wrote. This is the one I created after my husband died 6 years ago, and just had a terrible time allowing myself to grieve. And the still small voice finally got a word in edgewise and said, yes, you're a religious science minister, and you're in grief and loss. And not only is it okay, but it's necessary. So I would love it if you decide to join me. $20 love offering. We'll do it in this very room about 11:20 or so. Go for about an hour and a half. So would love to have you join me. It's, even if I do say so myself, and I do, it's really good because we talk about change and allowing ourselves to experience change and to be okay with it. Maybe, you know, gripping the sides of the table or the white knuckle experience, but we know the change is going to happen because the change is going to happen. Whether we allow it or not, we might as well go along for the ride. So I invite you to stay with me for that. I want to close with this quote, this wonderful book, How to Find God in Everything. Amoda Majavine, and I did that wrong, but that's the best I can do, wrote, every experience of your life is a calling from God. And I would say not only your direct experiences, but the people we meet along the way, the experiences that we have, the conversations that we have. Every experience of your life is a calling from God. Every experience, whether it is pleasurable or painful, is an invitation to embrace the fullness and depth of this moment as it is now. Deep intimacy with this moment offers the promise of liberation. It is an invitation to your true nature. Beyond appearances, beyond what comes and goes, is the you that does not change. The you that is neither this nor that, but simply is. You cannot find this part of you by looking into the future or dwelling in the past, because time is an illusion that takes you away from the reality of now. The truth of who you are can only be found in the absolute presence of this moment. In this moment, you are whole. There is nothing that can be added or taken away. You are, in fact, a divine creation of unlimited potential, for God is your essential nature, and mine, and everyone else's, too. So with that in mind, join me in the light for just a minute. So in the peace and the quiet of this moment, we allow ourselves to be reminded that there is only one power, presence, mind, life, and intelligence, and that is God. Spirit, the universe, the infinite, the divine, whatever we choose to call it. And we are together in gratitude today for the opportunity to be reminded of the truth of our being, to be reminded that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so in this human experience, we allow ourselves to feel what we feel. We allow ourselves to feel, to experience the lusciousness, the joy, the passion, as well as the heartbreak of this moment, knowing that we can keep moving forward. We treat ourselves with gentleness, with kindness, with compassion, as we do everyone else. For our time together, for this day, for this beloved spiritual community, we give great thanks. And together we say, and so it is.
And so it is.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you. I want to invite you to sing along with us, clap along with us. This beautiful song by Mamuse called I Believe in the Power of Kindness. I believe in the power of love.
Yes.
Ooh, yep, right key. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. We don't know what's coming. We can help shape what's ahead. With kindness as a currency, commonwealth is in our hands. So give a little, I'll give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go round. There's more than enough. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. So look up now, people, and keep your ears to the ground. We are the river flowing where generosity abounds. Oh, give a little, I'll give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go round. There's more than enough. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, I believe in the power of love. The honeybee serves the sweetness only to help the world bloom. Bringing love to the flower, from the flower to the fruit, we can learn a thing or two. Yeah, give a little, I'll give a lot, don't stop. Ooh, a helping hand makes the world go round. There's more than enough.
Give it to me now.
Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, I believe in the power of love.
Oh, sing it time here.
Ooh, I believe in the power of kindness. Ooh, I believe in the power of love. Grand finale.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Jerry. What a great talk.
Thank you.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you.
Yay, Reverend Jerry.
Thank you.
You just bring it on home.
All right, it is time for us to share our tithes and offerings. On the seat in front of you or at your seat, there's information about OHM as well as an envelope and an index card. Invite you to use the index card if something came up for you or you came with something this morning that you'd like prayer work for. Our ministers and practitioners will be happy to hold you in the light this week. So invite you to note that. You can use that envelope for if you're giving by cash or check, invite you to use the envelope, or you can go on our website or PayPal or Venmo or just a variety of ways to give, and we appreciate that as always so very much. I will ask our ushers to come forward, and then I will pray us into this experience using the baskets. Oh, there they are magically, okay? So as we lovingly release these tithes and offerings, we say thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this abundance it's ours to share, recognizing in this law of giving and receiving that as we give, we do receive. We give great thanks. Together we say, and so it is. So just a couple of announcements while we're doing that. If you're not on the center's email list and would like to be, I invite you to sign up for that. One of the things you would know about if you've been on email this morning, Tuesday night, August 15th, the Awakened Heart Collective is going to be doing Prayers for Peace at 7 o'clock. So they normally do a gathering the third Thursday of each month in the sanctuary. So I invite you to be with us for that if you'd like. And there's more information, as always, and a schedule of what's going on our website. And then just a reminder, you're invited to stay with me after the service at 11:15. So we're good. So 11:15, we will do my workshop, about an hour and a half, and would love it if you would stay and join me for that. I guess here. All right. Okay. Talia and Sylvia, wonderful music this morning. Thank you both so very much. Perfect.
Songs. She picked the songs.
Yay. Well, thanks to both of you very, very much for that. Martin, thank you as all. Martin and Victoria, thank you so much for doing the wires and switches. We appreciate it. Ushers and greeters and setup team, thank you all so very much for what you did. We couldn't do it without you. Again, wonderful to see all of you this morning. Thanks so much for being here. Those of you on Zoom, thank you for being here or watching later. We appreciate you. Stand if you would. We will say our closing affirmation and then sing the peace song. I am an expression of God, born into the richness and abundance of the indwelling presence. Today, I walk upon my world, consciously creating oneness within and around me. And so it is.
All right. So I'll give you a little intro here. And you know what? I applaud each and every one of you for being here today. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, loved ones all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now, right now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyful vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Have a good day, everybody.